Hey, welcome. It's Trash Talk. You know how I know? Because it's right behind Brandon and it's also on his shirt. That's our official Trash Talk shirt.
Oh, geez, yeah. I just threw it on. Didn't even know. Just
There you go. Yeah. Oh, and I just got back from taking out the trash and
I
all,
see.
which was kind of was going to lead us into what we were going to talk about today, and that was talking about taking doing chores and stuff, and that one was always one that I didn't mind taking out the trash, except both of us grew up in the Midwest, and when you had to start taking the trash out in December and January and February. And
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Brandon, but uh, the trash can was in the alley behind the garage, and oftentimes you'd have to, if it had snowed or what, you either had to shovel the walk to get to the alley to throw away the trash, or you just made it through the snow. You made your own footprints out there, and then drop the trash in the trash can, and then reverse and come back through your footsteps. I didn't mind it in the spring and the fall. That, taking the trash out wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, we when I was at that age where I guess I had to do it, I mean it was a long driveway. I had a long driveway. So the trash can was in the garage, the recycling bin was in the garage, and whatever else we had. And we had to wheel it down the driveway. I got lucky sometimes because my dad got up so early for work to leave that 9 times out of 10 he would just wheel it down there because he was up so early, and he wanted to make sure because our trash guy came early. So I got lucky, but I did have to do it sometimes. Yeah, for sure.
And of course, then in the wintertime, if he left early for work, then he created the ruts down the driveway with the car for you to walk down to the street. So
Yeah.
in my day, we didn't have recycling and all. It was just one or two cans, and you'd fill it up with trash. Or in my day, you could even burn your paper trash. What we now call recyclables. You used to have a I don't know what you'd call it. It was like a garbage can with holes in it, and you would actually just put all the paper and stuff like that in it, and leaves. If you did the grass, you'd just put it in this thing, and you'd wait till the end of the week. It smelled like high heaven, but you just drop a match into it, and an incinerator, it was called. But
they frown on that now.
Yeah, you can't do that. I mean,
you can burn leaves if it's on your property, like not in a subdivision, but if you have a property or whatever, you can burn leaves. But yeah, you can't burn trash.
Yeah, and today you can't even just put your leaves in a bag and throw that in the trash. You have to put it in a specific biodegradable bag that you pay money for in order to get rid of your trash.
Yeah, I used to camouflage stuff all the time. I was a big camouflage guy. I was like G.I. Joe. And I would, it sucks, I know, but I don't care. I would sit there and camouflage my leaves, put them in a trash bag with some trash on top, wrap it up, break the sticks. Because I was like, I'm not buying a bag just to throw it away. I'm not doing it.
The greatest invention was when they came out with the black plastic garbage bags.
Yeah.
So you couldn't see what was in it. Before that, it was either white or they were clear.
Man, which is gross. Gross. Yeah, chores, man. Oh my gosh, chores are interesting. I don't know if kids have them like we did. And I got to be honest with you, I was a crappy kid, so I needed more chores and more. I needed to be told 17,000 times with repercussions if I didn't do them. And sometimes that didn't happen. I feel like sometimes I just wore my parents out. They won't admit it, but I'm going to admit it.
Well, I think originally when we were kids, I mean, chores were something that you just had to do. It was just part of you're living in this house. You're going to do these chores. And it could have been so simple as I used to set the table for dinner, and then my sister would pick up the dishes after dinner and put them in the sink.
That's okay.
Simple. It was taking your little wastebasket from your desk in your room and taking it downstairs and putting it in the main. Those were simple things you had to do. Then we got old enough to say to our parents, you think you could maybe slip a few coins my way for doing these chores?
I'm glad you brought that up, actually. Did you get paid for chores?
I initially no, because I wasn't smart enough to negotiate for it. As I got a little older, when I got to maybe 10, 12, whatever, and I wanted to start going to the movies with my friends, or you wanted to walk down to the supermarket and get a soda or something. Yeah, then you try and hit your parents up for a little bit, and then it was called an allowance.
Okay.
And they would give you the allowance every week, but the allowance included these 15 items that you had to do to earn your allowance.
I think I went in phases with the pay, with the allowance. I think there was chores that were part of your chores. Like Saturday was a big one, because you're home from school, or summertime.
Right.
My big one that I remember was using right when Dirt Devil came out, the little red Dirt Devil,
Right.
to get the stairs and get the rugs and clean my bathroom. Because we had a bathroom upstairs that I only used, until my sister was born. So that was my bathroom. I had to clean it. And then I had to Dirt Devil and then clean my bedroom, which was never really clean.
Sweep it under the rug.
It was, well, my big thing was, look, I got a lot of stuff. It's off the floor and put away. I don't know what to tell you.
But don't open the closet door.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah, just don't open the closet, Mom.
But I don't remember getting paid for those things. I remember getting an allowance when I did some other stuff that was outside of my scope, or just because I needed some cash and I couldn't quite work yet, but yet I was at that point where I wanted to buy my lunch, or I did different things. I don't remember a lot of it, but I also had a job at the age of 14, so I don't know.
Well, yeah, I had a paper route. Most young kids had a paper route, and they got a little bit of money that way, but you didn't necessarily get paid to do the chores. And some of the chores were outdoor chores. Like when you got to be old enough to push that lawnmower, then Dad said, "Here, let me show you how to start this thing and how to put the bag on and take it off." And you can do that. Then in the fall, again, being from the Midwest, you had to rake leaves. And I mean, that was a chore that was probably one of the chores I did not enjoy doing, because we had a big front yard and a big backyard, and there was lots of leaves. And you'd hope you check the weather every day to see if there were going to be high winds.
It's just,
it's okay. Let's see. The winds are coming from the west. Okay, so let's kind of sweep from the west, and they'll blow it onto the neighbor's yard. And in those days, we didn't have power blowers, so you could blow the leaves off of the grass. You literally had to rake them up and then put them into a container or something. Or in our day, you could rake them out into the street and leave them in the street, and then light them on fire and burn them. And frankly, I always loved the smell of burning leaves.
I do too, actually. It reminds me of campfires and stuff. So
right.
Still love it. I love to see the smoke. I love it. I got lucky on the grass again. I mowed it. Maybe it's more than this, but I'll just say it twice in my childhood, because my dad, and if he watches this, oh, well, I'm going to call him out. My dad is obsessive, compulsive Italian dad with the grass. So I never did it right. My lines weren't lined up right. I did it wrong. I even though he showed me, he get frustrated. Forget it. I'm going to do it. All right, do it. Have fun with that, Dad. But he would be out there. I swear to God, he'd be out there with tweezers. Like, let me double check this. And he says he's not obsessed with it now, but every time I call on me while I'm mowing the grass, I'm like, bro, you just mowed the grass like 2 hours ago? What are you doing? He's still on the grass. Not as bad as it was, but because I sucked at it, he was like, forget it. So
Now, were your lines crooked and everything on purpose because you knew, hey, if I don't do this exactly right, he's not gonna let me cut the grass.
no, look, at first, obviously I'm a teenager. I'm an idiot. I didn't want to do it. But at first, I was just trying to figure out because the front was like a hill. So I'm like, what the, you know? And they were kind of, but I did try. I mean, I remember this vividly. I did try. And then the second time I was like, all he's going to do is complain. I'm just going to do it real fast. He said, forget it.
I had a neighbor that one week he would cut it, going north and south. And
Yes.
the next week he would cut it east and west. And the next week it would be diagonal. And I mean, I don't know whether he eventually became a Major League Baseball landscape guy or something. But I mean, his yard was always meticulous and all. And like I say, the lines were like military,
Right.
they were so straight. And my father used to say to me, go out and cut the grass and do it like Mr. Johnson. No way. I ain't going to be able to do it like Mr. Johnson.
Yeah. I'm not cutting crop circles in my lawn,
Right. Right. Or do a logo, a logo in the grass or something like that.
Right. I'm going to put my initials in it. I hate lawns. Like, I do enjoy, this is a weird thing. I do enjoy doing the landscaping and like the bushes and the trees. I used to go over my grandma and papa's house and, this is Papa, old school Italian. He only wanted me to do the landscaping if he couldn't do it. So obviously if I got his approval, I knew I was doing a good job. And I used to go over there a lot and help him and trim the bushes and the trees and help him pick up all the sticks and twigs. He would still come out and assist, because you're not going to tell him no.
Right.
And I loved it. I didn't care. I probably bringing a tear in my eye right now. I wish I could do it now, but I don't like cutting the grass. I hate cutting the grass. Oh my God. Even when I had the house, I hate it.
I'm a lot older than you. And I remember when in the beginning, when I started cutting the grass, it was a hand mower. It was not a power mower. It was it was manpower. And I was kind of scrawny little kid. So it wasn't that easy to do it. Then we got our first power mower, and then I volunteered to do it because it was so much easier. And then when I got married, my wife and I bought a house and it was like on about a quarter of an acre and I got a riding mower.
That's the spot, man.
And, I didn't mind doing that until my son was old enough and he said, hey, Dad, you want me to go cut the grass? Sure, son, here's the key to the mower. And then he used to get out because it was kind of cool to be out there cutting the grass on the mower and all and waving to the girls and they went by.
Yeah, I hate it. We had a small yard and I still hated it. It was never fun for me. Plus, I look at the time in my life when I was mowing the grass, when I was married, I was working the nightclub, so I'd get home super late. Luke was super little. I was just out there in the Texas heat, and it was a small lawn, but no, I make my son do chores now. Granted, he's only 4, but he helps me out. He watering the flowers when he has to. He likes to clean the patio furniture, so that's a chore now. And
he hasn't learned about an allowance yet.
No, but he gets money anyway. He's got more money than I got. So, I mean, a kid goes back to Michigan and my family comes over and they're sticking dollars in his pockets. Literally, I went to change him to go to bed the last time we were there. The guy's got $50 in his pocket. I'm like, what the heck? I got nothing.
We used to take car trips every summer. And most of the time we'd drive out to visit my grandparents out in New Jersey. My dad would give my sister $20 and he'd give me $20, and that was supposed to last us for the entire 2-week trip. And
wow.
I mean, $20 back in those days, that was a fair amount of money, except we used to go on the toll road and we'd stop at Howard Johnson on the toll road And as soon as we get into Howard Johnson or so, I would make a beeline to the gift shop, and I'd buy some kind of nonsense puzzle or something. And it was like $12. Well, there's 12 out of my 20. My sister would keep her 20. She would strangle that $20 bill. We get to my grandmother's, and my grandmother on the side would hand her another 20, hand me a 20. I would go down to the local pharmacy. I would buy candy. I would buy toys. We'd come home. My sister would have about $100 in her pocket, and I'd have about 43 cents left.
But that's how it is. I remember, we were in Chicago, and I had friends that lived in Schaumburg, just outside of Chicago. And their grandma lived downtown Chicago. So we went and stayed with them downtown, just me, no parents, just me, my buddies, and whatever.
Yeah.
And his grandma was slipping me money. And we'd go down to the local Mexican market and buy the Mexican candy and the pastries. And I'd be like, wait a minute, I just blew like $25.
Yeah. Well, but you didn't want to come back home and have that money, because your mother or father would say to you, hey, where'd you get this money? It's
a budget. Spend all your budget. It's like a work thing. Spend all your budget. Otherwise, you're not going to get it next year.
Right.
Yeah, I do. I don't pay Luke for his chores, but I am teaching him, besides picking up his toys and crap like that. He feeds the cat. I mean, that's him. When he's here, he's like, oh, I got to feed the cat. And he's good at it.
Okay.
He'll look at my cat and go, no more food. You're done. You're done. So he's learning the process. It's very important,
Yeah. I used to have a goldfish, and I'd have to put the food in the goldfish, and then you'd look about 3 days later, the goldfish was on floating on the top on its side.
I love fish, man. I think they're cool, but the taking care of them and all that. I used to have a fish tank, and I had the angel fish, and 3 of them killed themselves, man. They just jumped out the tank and killed themselves. I'm like, am I that bad of a human being that you just killed yourself? Like, I'm 15.
I've really never known a fish to commit suicide.
And they said that angel fish, they're jumpers. And I'm like, why do we have them?
Probably a good reason to put a screen on top of the aquarium.
Have like a little lid open, or something, or a gap. And these guys just hated their life so much, they just said, forget it, I'm done, I'm out. It was like the dark version of Finding Nemo, the darker version.
Right. Yeah, like being in prison,
Right.
Yeah. I don't what you want me to keep swimming back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. To heck with this. I'm out of here.
Yeah, it just wasn't good with fish. That's why I never want to get them. I thought Luke would like them. I'm like, this is a bad idea. Forget it. No, we're not doing that. I almost bought him a turtle one day, because I'm obsessed with turtles. And then I thought, you know what? No, it's going to be my pet. And those things live to be like 40. I'll be dead.
Well, but the upside to having a turtle, though, is they can't run away that easily.
No, I don't think he's going to kill himself.
Yeah, right. Or how would they?
My luck, he'll find a way. He'll bash his head against the wall, or he'll go on a hunger strike. I don't know. I'm going to get a tortoise one day, though. When we get a house, I'm getting a tortoise. One of those tortoise. I'm putting them. Yeah, I'm getting one, man. I'm excited.
You know what? In the meantime, what you can do is you can go online and get a virtual turtle.
That sounds boring.
Just like having virtual. They got virtual fish tanks, so you could just turn your monitor into like a fish tank.
I turned my TV into a fireplace.
A fireplace, yeah. And what real purpose does that serve?
Ambiance.
Right.
So what's the one chore besides garbage? If you could think of one chore that you absolutely hated and despised throughout your childhood.
I'm making my bed.
That's fair.
I did not enjoy making my bed when I was a kid. I never enjoyed making my bed ever. And of course, when you go into the military, you make your bed, and the sergeant would come around and he'd drop a quarter on the bed to see if it would bounce back up. It had to be that tight. And if that
Jeez.
quarter didn't bounce, you stripped your bed and you made it again. So I really learned how to make a bed in the military. And to this day, I still make the bed. Don't really enjoy it, but I do it.
You still do it that tight?
Yeah. Well, not that tight. In fact, my wife will make it that tight, which at night when I want to open up the bed to get in, it's a struggle to have to undo it. It's so tight.
Yeah, you're like trying to go into a sarcophagi. You're like, I just want to sleep.
Yeah, if I wanted it that tight, I'd get myself a sleeping bag.
I think mine was the shower or the bathtub cleaning that. I still to this day hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. Because number one, you got to do it on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Number two, for me, I'm moving Toys R Us everywhere to clean it. I got to pull toys out. Every time I try to take a shower, there's more toys in there. I don't even know how they got in there. So and then I got to clean some of the toys or throw them away because it's disgusting, right?
So what you should do, you should get a basket and tell Luke that one of his chores is when he's finished in the bathtub, take all of his toys and put them in this little plastic basket in the tub.
So he's really good. He'll tell me to leave. He'll be like, Dad, leave. And you don't leave a kid in the bathtub by himself. And so I walk out of the room and I come back and he lines them all up and then he drains the water. And I'm like, well, you know what? I can't get mad at him. Like you did a good job,
Right.
But you got to get the nooks and crannies. And then, oh my God, I hate it. I'd pay somebody to do it if I had the money.
And of course, you always hated when your mom would, because we lived about 3 blocks from a grocery store. And so you'd run out of something and she'd say, here's some money, go get a gallon of milk, or I need a loaf of bread, or we ran out of bologna for sandwiches, walk down to the market and get it. I hated doing that until I got to be 16.
Well, that's fun.
Then you get your driver's license. You say, hey, Ma, you need anything? You need, need some milk or bread? I'll be happy. Or you'd go over and you'd get the milk and come home and she'd say, where's the bread? Oh, I forgot the bread. I'll drive back over to the store. You didn't mind it once you got your license, because then you could, you were willing to go do all of the chores as long as you could use the car.
Especially if you were grounded. You're like, oh,
right.
Yeah, I got you. Let me just go drive. You go cruise around the block real quick.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going over to the grocery store. Meet me over there in 15 minutes.
This guy's done that plenty of time. I liked, my other grandma too. I did a lot of stuff for her, but I don't look at that as chores, you're just, and of course, she's grandma. She's always going to give you money. And she would say that first. Hey, I'll pay you. And I'm like, what? You don't got to pay me to come over. And like her and I would just have fun. We go to the grocery store together at night because she was a late night grandma.
Yeah.
So it'd be like 10 o'clock at night. She's like, and I'd be home, Brandon, I want to go to the grocery store. Will you drive me? Yeah, let's roll. We'd have a good time. We go to Denny's at like 1 a.m.
And then you started dating and he'd say, Mom, I'll be right back. I'm just going over to grandma's for a minute.
I just got to see grandma, but she couldn't sweep the steps, in the snow and, so I would go over there and do it. I didn't mind that crap, she'd always give me money. And I'm like, you
didn't mind doing it for your grandmother, but at home it was a chore.
Yeah, I don't want to do it for them. I still feel that way.
Well, one chore we hope everybody will adopt, and that is to watch Trash Talk every Tuesdays at 8:00 in the morning. Because that's not a chore for us. We're going to be here throwing out the garbage and doing whatever we do. So we invite you to join us. All right. So be back here again next week, same time, for another edition of Trash Talk. Bye.